Everyone, this is Sam over at the Foot Whisperer Reflexology Institute here today with another reflexology technique video for you. And we are at the last reflexology technique for the feet in this video series. Next, we will be moving on to the hands. Very cool stuff. But we still have two more reflex areas to walk. One of them is very important from a physical standpoint. It's the cuboid notch, and the other is just the plantar surface of the heel, representing all of those sciatic nerve lower body reflexes. So enjoy this last part, celebrate, and definitely, if you've completed this video series with us, make sure to go back and look at the full hour foot reflexology routine that we have in our videos, because that will really put together all of these bits and pieces for you so that you can start to practice a full session non-stop. So, without further ado, let's talk about how we walk the cuboid notch and plantar surface of the heel. Okie dokie, everybody. So here we are, and we are going to be walking the cuboid notch first. So for those of you who don't know, the cuboid notch is named after the cuboid bone, which is on this lateral side of the foot. It's kind of like right here, and it's shaped like a cube, hence the name cuboid. Okay, but anyway, the notch itself is actually going to start at the proximal head of the fifth metatarsal. We've talked about that a lot in this video series, and it's going to end at the pelvic line guideline at the posterior end of this cuboid notch. But unlike the name as far as the cuboid bone is actually square shape, but the notch itself is triangle shaped. I know, kind of confusing, but it feels like a little triangle shaped ditch, and that's where we are going to be doing our walk. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using a circular motion with the fingers in order to trace this triangle 3 times. We're going to start at the proximal head of the fifth metatarsal, go up the triangle, down the back side of the triangle, and then across the bottom of the triangle. And we are going to do that 3 times. Imagine that, 3 times. So, couple tips that I wanted to share and some insider knowledge that you won't find in any reflexology book anywhere, because this is content that's unique to the Institute, is this complex represents the various surfaces of the leg. And what I've found, especially since I work with a lot of runners and people who use their low body a lot of professional athletes, is that the more proximal surface of the cuboid, the ascending part of that triangle, represents, ascending is the quadriceps, so the quads. Then the posterior, or the descending surface, descending, is the hamstrings, so the hammies. Then the bottom of that cuboid notch is the calves. Okay, so based on where you palpate the most amount of tension, you can really tell, especially if somebody is having like hip impingement issues, or their stride's just off, or they're even having something like leg or cramping in the bottom half of the body. You can really tell where that's coming from a muscular standpoint by understanding the 3 different surfaces of the cuboid notch. That's some pretty cool information right there, and things that I've validated over time. So definitely take that, use that. But after we walk this intricate little cuboid notch, we have one more area that we need to address. Boop. And that is going to be the heel. And for those of you that have been following, we need to do guidelines first. Boop. Boop. All we really need is pelvic guideline. And pelvic guideline is where that proximal arch starts to delineate from the heel. Or, since we just mapped the cuboid notch, the more proximal edge of that cuboid notch. Okay? Basically, what we're going to do here is we're going to start very similar to the digestive reflexes. We're going to start horizontally and then we're going to walk vertically. But the thing about the digestive reflexes that's different from these sciatic reflexes in the heel is that there is no pesky plantar tendon that we need to worry about. So we're not going to cut our horizontal walk short. Instead, we're going to walk all the way across 3 times and then shift the thumbs width down and walk again horizontally 3 times. Okay. Then what we're going to do, oh, I need another marker. Then what we're going to do is we're going to shift into a vertical walk. And that vertical walk is going to start in line with the 5th vertical zone, or in line with the pinky toe. We're going to walk 3 times. Shift to the in line with the 4th toe 3 times. In line with the 3rd toe 3 times. In line with the 2nd toe, guess what? 3 times. And then in line with the 5th toe, or 1st toe rather, 3 times. And that is how we make sure to thoroughly cover this entire heel area. Some heels are small, some heels are large. If you need to do 3 horizontal passes, you totally can. Watch out for landmines here. It's thick tissue, it's rough tissue often, so really take your time here from a body mechanics standpoint, but also you don't understand that it's really 10 times more sensitive than you think it is. Even though it's really big, thick tissue, you have to understand that this is the root of the sciatic nerve. There are more times than not often very sensitive areas in through here that you need to be very, very careful of. So take your walk slow. Don't rush it. Don't try to grind out the heel. It's going to kill you and your client. Really take it easy here and settle into those spots that you find within the forest of really thick tissue through here. We do the exact same thing on the other side. Oftentimes on reflexology maps, you'll see a solid line right through the heel indicating the sciatic nerve, but that's really the only reflex that you'll see here. And that is how we would do the same thing on the other side. But for now, let's go to the technique. Start by grabbing a little bit of cream and glossing the cuboid notch, then finding the notch from the proximal head of the 5th metatarsal and using a circular motion to walk up, down, and across the bottom of the cuboid notch. We'll do this 3 times to thoroughly work the area. One more time, up, down, and across the bottom. Perfect. Moving on to the plantar surface of the heel, nice gloss with cream. Then we are going to use our outside hand to thumb walk horizontally all the way across. We don't need to watch out for that pesky plantar tendon here. Instead, we are going to start 3 rows horizontally, shift the thumbs width down, and walk another 3 horizontal rows, and then switch to a vertical walk. Really making sure you can see here that I've slightly lifted the heel to provide leverage, making sure that the wrist and thumb stay happy. Switching hands, the inside hand will now walk vertically in line with each toe, each vertical zone, 3 times each. And that will complete how we walk the plantar surface of the heel.